Okay. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Tell a friend. This is all black everything. Think it's black dreams, big dreams, many dreams. You know how we do it. Back again. The new series. We've been lied to slash. Did you know? Back with the when the world was black. Of course, a lot of people don't even know that, but it's a fact. It was black before once upon a time, and that was it. Then we circumnavigated the globe, spreading this beauty. We ain't keep it to ourselves. We wasn't stingy. Like you share, subscribe, thumbs up, like you hitchhiking. Let's go. We're getting into it right where we left off, and it's a long way we go, but we're gonna get through it one page at a time. Leave them comments in the comments. Leave your thoughts. You dig? Here we go, and we come with the history of savagery. This is a quote. There are many humorous things in the world, among them the white man's notion that he's less savage than the other savages. That's coming from Mark Twain, following the equator. One of your people, I ain't said, I'm just relaying it. When my wife Mecca and I traveled to the city of Prague in the Czech Republic, we wandered around as if we were on a foreign planet. No one spoke English, and we didn't speak their language or anything close to it. They clearly hadn't seen too many couples like us either. Perhaps that's why Kanye West had such a hard time casting black children for his Diamonds from Sierra Leone video, which was shot there before we made our trip. We documented some of our experiences there in a video found on my YouTube channel. One of the highlights of this video is our trip to Prague's Torture Museum. So why would you have a museum dedicated to torture? Sick individuals. These people are psychotic. Yes, it's a museum dedicated entirely to torture devices and the history of their use. They had a giant metal they had giant metal spikes that women were forced to sit on and caskets filled with barbed points that were closed on living people. It's just sick. Demonic. These devices were used throughout European history, but we recognized a few of them from the history of American slavery as well. It was disturbing to say the least. As it turns out, there are torture museums throughout the Western world, most of them just like the one in Prague. Guess why? Because torture is one of the few things that Europeans gave to the world. There is not a single spoken language, written script, form of government, economic system, industry, or technology branch of science, artistic technique, musical genre, sport, or agricultural product that the Europeans gave to the rest of the world. As we explore in a separate book titled Black People Invented Everything. Do I have that one? Nah, it's another one. It's called something else. Where we at? Okay, yeah, that's it right there. Everything. Now, one thing we have not admitted, but that's not the story you told. Okay, let's see. All of these things came from original people. But when it comes to torture, genocide, child molestation, bestiality, and all sorts of human degradation, we know that those things weren't a part of any indigenous culture. Not any. Oh boy. As the scholars profiled in Tariq Nasheed's Hidden Colors 2 documentary explained, there are no known instances of African cannibalism. Yet there are dozens of well documented cases of European cannibalism throughout the ages. And just how civilized are the people who go around enslaving and raping everyone they meet? Ask yourself these questions. We don't do that. We don't go invading and conquering others, fucking up their civilization, their communities. Who were the real savages is the question. As we explained in the Hood Health Handbook, Volume 1, historically, original people have always been very big on being clean. We're the ones that taught you how to bathe. Do your history. We are the ones who invented soap, bathhouses, and even shampoo, all before anyone ever thought to say cleanliness is next to godliness. We've included hygiene in all of our religious and cultural traditions. Meanwhile, Europeans were historically pretty gross, from living in caves sealed with feces to bathing only once or twice a year. Yes, a year. When we came to Europe as the Moors, we had to teach them how to bathe. I just told you that. If you saw Robin Hood when it first came out, you'll notice that the Moorish brother is the one who has to teach Robin Hood and them to wash up. Did you know the most popular examples of flushing toilets in the ancient world are those built by the black people of ancient India? But there's also plenty of evidence from ancient Africa as well as the Mayans and other original people, including the ancient Egyptians and Mayans. We also had to teach them about sanitation. We came from civilizations that had sewers and flushing toilets as early as 3500 BC, long, long time ago. But as late as the 1800s, Europeans used chamber pots, which they poured out the window when they were done. Now imagine what's in the streets. But a lot of what, excuse me, a lot of that was cleaned up by the huge rats and pigs they had running through the streets of Europe at the time. You can imagine the health complications. That's why they are so sick. When Europeans came to North Africa, they brought a gang of diseases, most of which came from animals, so living with the animals. Mm-mm-mm. As well as their standard of hygiene. Feeney Zinner, who wrote a biography of Tisquantum, Tisquantum, better known as Squanto, recorded that Squanto, quote, tried without success to teach them, the pilgrims, to bathe, end quote. The native people of Mexico would hold flowers to their noses when talking with the Spanish conquistadors in attempt to mask the odor they could smell through the armor of the Spanish. In fact, Queen Elizabeth of Spain, who once boasted that she bathed only twice in her life, twice in the whole lifetime. That's crazy. The first came when she was born, and the second time, the day of her marriage. Upon hearing Columbus's reports on the frequency of bathing among the native people, issued an edict that stated in part, quote, they are not to bathe as frequently as hitherto, end quote. So they don't want you to be clean at all because they dirty. Everywhere you look among people of color, we have washed regularly, put fruits and berries in our hair and skin. Remember coming to America? Juices and berries, only juices and berries, and kept up the highest standards of hygiene. And even with when our homes were built from clay and straw, they were impeccably clean. We invented the brooms. Do your research. Don't take me for it. Don't take my word for it. I know it because I've learned it. Don't let those ancient ruins fool you. You got to see a mock up of how they looked before they became ruins. Or visit a tribal village today. Those little huts get swept daily. In fact, we invented the broom too. Aha. That's a lot going on in such a short period. We're going to leave it right there, though. Keep it shorter. But this is powerful information, especially for those that have no idea when the world was black. Understand it now. It's a truth. It's truth to that. It's not no made up stuff. Do your own research though. All black everything. Think it's plight. Big dreams, many streams. Like you share, subscribe, it, thumbs up like you hitchhiking. You know how we do it. Hit the notification bell. Get it through the algorithms. All that good stuff. Peace and love. We coming right back to it, right where we left off. Yeah.